you
you're
gonna do
muted.
that?
Unmute yourself.
Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
SJ.
This is SJ. Her nickname is Adela, but we call her SJ.
Right.
Whoa, almost dropped it. So
my
she,
goodness.
look at those cheeks right there.
Oh my gosh,
me?
why are you doing that? Look at those. Oh man.
She just finished eating, and so she's like all active right now. She's like, hey, what's up? I want to see what's going on.
Like, I'm ready to see and talk to the people.
She's like, this is my show. This is my show.
SJ, you said?
Yes. Would
SJ.
you like to know what SJ stands
Yes.
for? Sandy Joe. She's our little SJ.
This is our SJ. Her nickname is Adela. That's on her birth certificate,
Right.
but we don't pay attention to that. So
They misspelled SJ.
they
It's
did
weird.
misspell it exactly, huh? Huh? Look at her.
Sorry, BossDiva. It's hard when there's a baby on the screen, right?
Oh, trust me, I know.
You know, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
How old is she, Joe?
She is 2 months now.
2.5 months.
Almost 2 months. Yeah.
2 months.
She's
a
like
brand new
she's holding her
baby.
neck up and everything. She's like,
Yeah.
Look,
she's
she's got her
strong.
little
Look at that. She's like,
her-
hey,
Halloween outfit.
yeah.
Right.
I heard that someone got her a Halloween outfit.
We did get her a costume. It's so cute.
What's she gonna be?
She's a little ladybug.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's just so stinking adorable.
What's up?
You are adorable, cutie pie.
Yes.
She's like, I know.
Just like thanks.
Well, everyone, I guess that'll help lean into our first question of the day. I just wanted to see how's everybody's day so far.
Oh, how was yours, SJ?
Watch her go. bleh.
We'll edit that out in post.
Right.
Okay?
She's like, I ate, burped, and now I'm on this show.
And I slept. Right.
And I slept a little bit. Yeah.
That sounds like a good day, though, SJ.
Right.
For real, though. For real.
That is a great
The
day,
napping
actually.
part
Great
is
day.
what gets me.
Yeah, she was napping
gosh.
whenever I got in because I had a photo shoot today, and they're like, she's napping. Oh. So I got to hold her while she's napping. That's what I like to do.
Right.
That's the best time to hold them.
Yeah.
When they're not fussing, they're not moving.
I asked the producer if she had the baby fever, and she's like,
I told Eric my ovaries are screaming right now.
And he's
I
like,
told Dr. Pineapples. I mean, I've told
Tell
Dr.
him to
Pineapples for years. I've wanted more kids. So, and I didn't originally, but now I do. Or anyway,
That's what I
Right,
told
right.
Eric. I'm like, I think now I'm ready to be a mom. Like, I messed up 2. Let's try it for a 3rd one.
let me get it right on number 3.
Let
That's
me
what
get it
all
right
it will come
with
from.
number
third
3.
time's a charm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Look at her.
I don't
She's
know.
just like,
No, I have 3.
oh,
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
I have 3 as well.
So
Yeah, the third
was
one.
third
The
time?
third one is that one that's the one that's challenging me the most.
Oh, really?
Boy
So
or girl?
it's not my 3rd one, but it's
Boy.
the last
yeah.
one. Mine does that too.
Yeah,
So-
the last one. Yeah, my 3rd one is the last one. He's the baby. He's the last of the Mohicans, and it's just like,
Ooh.
yeah.
And it's so crazy. Like I'll come around anywhere in the house, and then I'll just be like, why did you do this? And then she'll be like, Dad, why do you always say it's me? And I'm like, who did this? And she's like, I did. And I'm like,
But you shouldn't be
That's
yelling
right.
at her. You shouldn't make the assumption. She doesn't want
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's making her
but
mad
it's
is the
always
assumption.
her. 99.99% of the time.
Oh,
Right.
look. Tom said, not so, Sandy.
What does John know?
Yeah.
How was your day like, Joe?
So it was. I woke up early and got to work early.
Oh, so 11:30. Okay.
Yeah, what's early to you when you hear him say that?
Early to me is like before 7.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. True
That's early.
You heard
I-
Sandy just now.
I woke up at
That's more accurate.
11:30. Made it to and then I went to go get a haircut.
Okay.
And
Just
then,
took a little off the top because
and
I did
then I
not
went
notice.
to go get something to eat, and then I decided to go to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that he technically decided to go to work. I think he just needed somewhere to plop.
Yeah.
For,
Somewhere to go.
You know,
for a
after
while.
doing
Somewhere to
all
plop
that
his
Exactly.
meal.
Yeah, I was like, I need to go plop here
yeah,
and
Mhm.
reply
maybe
to some
let the nap
emails,
fall
answer
on.
I answered a phone call. I was good. I was good.
Yeah.
I bet they just love having all that help at your office.
I know, right? Yeah.
Right.
They don't even message me anymore. They're like, and they're like this, Joe, when you come in.
If and when. If and when.
If
I was
you
like,
decide to.
See, that's cool. See, that they understand. They understand that I'll
They
get there
get me.
when I get there. Yeah, so I show up. I sign the checks. We're good.
Hey.
That's the main
You know
part,
what?
right?
That's what all I would care about.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
Joe coming in to sign checks? That's
Right,
it.
exactly.
Right.
Don't need to see him. Don't need to talk to him.
And don't give me work like you know what you're doing either, though.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm here at 8:00 every morning, so leave me alone.
right.
You worry about yourself.
Well,
I
You
love
worry
that.
about
Worry
yourself.
about yourself.
man, that look was funny.
I know, isn't she?
Yeah.
That's gonna be SJ. Worry about yourself.
She's
Yeah.
like, worry about yourselves. Ugh.
How about you, Sandy? How's your day?
My day was good. So I don't know why I do this to myself. I really wish that there was a device that could help you track things like, oh, I don't know, say a calendar. You know, it's really weird. I wish there was something that existed like that I have in the palm of my hand. I overbook myself for webinars. So today I was doing a certification and a webinar at the same time.
Look
And
at you, superstar.
anyway,
Right.
I sent you my because I was trying to multitask. I sent you my quiz results, and I was like, I got 1 out of 6, and I was like, oh my god.
I was like,
Next
you're
time
still an
I'll do
all-star to
better.
me. Okay, you're
I
still an
know.
all-star
I
to me.
appreciate that. Anyway, thankfully, it was just one of those that I had to pass, and then I didn't have to pass the test.
It's only up from there, right? It's only up from there.
because they gave me a second chance, and it was like you got 2 right. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna get it. But anyway, they just let me go ahead and pass it.
You just pass for showing up.
Yeah, just thank you for coming in and spoiling 30 minutes. But other than that, it was good. I think that's it. Didn't have anything. Bless you, baby.
Bless you, kiddo. All right. What about you, BossDiva? How was your day today?
My day was busy. I was up, so I wake up at 6:30 every morning, regardless. Like Saturday morning, unfortunately, I'm up at 6:30.
Yeah, I know.
So my internal clock woke me up at 6:30, but I didn't have to be at work till 12. So I, knowing that, unfortunately, is not a good thing for me because I tend to procrastinate. It's like, oh, I have time.
Yes.
And it was 10:45, and I was like, ah! So I jumped up, got dressed, went to work, and I was in Grand Rapids, Michigan this morning. So
Oh, wow.
I
Wow.
literally just got back and landed about 7 o'clock today, back in Atlanta.
Oh
And now I'm
my
here with you
gosh.
guys.
Well, thank you
Nice.
so much.
I
for
know. I
being
appreciate
here.
that. I mean, if all of y'all had known, we're kind of a big deal, so people want to be.
They
on
fly
the
back
show.
home.
Yeah, they fly
Yeah.
in from Grand Rapids to join us.
Thank you,
Yes.
boss. So,
Look at
hey,
SJ.
Brenda.
Hello, baby SJ.
They're saying hi. Say hi.
It's like, forget John. I'm a big deal.
Right. So how was your day, Mr. Pineapples?
It was unproductive. I
Oh, I
didn't feel
love
too well,
those
so I ended
days.
up working from home, and
Oh, I do that too.
I just was not feeling well. But one of the cool things of the day was being able to. So we had planned to make a cake for Halloween this year. It was the first time we were going to do this, and I don't know if y'all have seen that cake out there where it's the green colored cake, and then on top there's a bunch of little strawberries with mouths and sharp teeth and eyes. And
I
we
It's
wanted-
not.
I guess not.
It's pretty cool. Anyway, I'll post a picture on the Suds page afterwards. But there is a cake that's that, and so it's inspired from Little Shop of Horrors, right? So it's Audrey 2 kind of
Oh,
thing.
yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
love that movie.
Yes, I love the movie too. Did you
Me
know that
too.
there's-
I love it.
Stephen,
Oh,
did you know that
Sandy.
there's an alternate ending that you can find on YouTube? And
No
it's
way.
Completely different. Like it ends
Oh,
horribly.
it was dark. Yeah, it's a dark ending.
super
Yeah.
dark.
Oh,
Yeah.
So the last song is all there, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh, the world ends.
Feel
Okay.
see more.
But you got to
Oh.
see how it ends. Anyway,
Nemo dies.
Anyway, so stop, Sandy. So we're gonna make that cake, and so I was asking everyone what flavors do we want, and so I asked everyone in text in the family, and everyone was responding, and there was a bunch of flavors. Anyway, the culmination of it was no raspberry because
Okay.
they've got to do cake and then filling and cream and everything else, but the thing was no raspberry. But everyone seemed to unanimously agree on strawberry. So we're gonna do
Yes.
strawberry
absolutely.
with what did they say? Someone wanted lemon or lime on the inside, but Dr. Pineapples doesn't like that. So we'll figure it out. But I will make sure this weekend to get pictures of it so you guys can see it all. But I hope it comes out the way in my head it's going to come out. So
Send
We'll
us a
see.
piece. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Ship it
Go
down
ahead
this
and
way.
ship it
Ship
to
it
us.
down.
Right.
This
We'll
way.
share it with SJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna ship all of y'all a picture of it
Right.
with the
Sorry.
recipe on the back.
Mr. Pineapples, SJ has a question.
What's your question, SJ?
She's like, who do we have on the show with us?
Well, I don't
Glad
think
you
SJ's
asked,
been
SJ.
updated yet. So before we get to that, I want to
Oh.
introduce y'all to some of the questions in the book again.
SJ got ahead of
SJ,
it.
you are
SJ,
good.
quit jumping the gun, okay?
Yeah, but you're cute as heck. Okay, so you got that for right now.
You got
But
that going for you.
Boss Diva, we're going to ask you a few questions before we
Okay.
get to introduce you officially to everyone.
Okay.
So with that said, here we go.
I'm nervous.
Right?
these-
I didn't study.
I don't know what these questions are either, so I don't know if they're deep or
Oh.
shallow or whatever else. So
That's
be
okay.
prepared.
I'm gonna
Here we go.
answer. I'm gonna answer them honestly.
Okay, good. All right. Question 1396. Do you think it's important for a couple getting married to share the same beliefs?
Absolutely.
Okay, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Do you want to expand on it some or no?
Yeah, I will. You know, especially now that the journey that I just started, it's very important to share the same beliefs because I think it causes a little bit of a divide when you have one person believe in one thing, one person believe in another, and then when you bring children into the equation, you know, there are certain beliefs, you know, that may not coincide. So I think it is a recipe for, I'm not gonna say disaster, but it's definitely a recipe for some, you know, bubble,
Headbutts.
full in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all agree with her?
What was the question?
Do you think it's important for a couple getting married to share the same beliefs?
No, I'm just kidding.
I
So
think
SJ was getting a little heavy, so I had to pass her
Right.
down. It's like it's a little heavy for for this old
She
guy.
just
here.
ate.
But
She
yeah.
just
So I think it's important that they have. I wouldn't say like 100% agree on everything because I think it's healthy to have, so you have something to talk about. So if we're talking to the same person and we don't have any type, and we just agree on everything 100%, I think that leads to a boring life. So I think it's good to have probably I would say like 90% of the same beliefs, and it depends. That 10% though, there's some big things in there that could be very important that definitely need to be discussed, like having kids, whether or not you're going to have kids.
Yeah, I think like kids, religion, and politics are probably like some of the.
I thought you were going to say poly.
And what?
Oh,
what'd
and
you say, Buster?
polyamorous, yes.
Oh,
What'd you say, boss?
See,
Listen.
look, see.
that is the way to go. But you didn't hear that from me. And
Okay.
finances, the same.
Oh,
Finances,
good.
Yes.
Yeah, very
Yes,
Yeah.
finances. Yes.
Yeah.
Like you
And
make the money
education.
and I spend it.
Right. You like to save and I don't. We got a problem.
Right.
That is the problem here.
Yeah, yeah.
I love to save. Dr. Pineapples doesn't. Shame on her.
Yeah, I bet.
Right. Wait a minute.
You can take it with you.
No, she's 2 floors above, so she can't hear me at all.
She's
You
on-
can hear when she says finances. Anybody can hear that.
Right.
Here we go. I think this is a better
we
question.
hear
You
the
ready?
broomstick
Question,
down on the.
Yeah.
question 1369 is: describe in one word how you want your retirement to be.
Restful.
Fabulous. Oh, that wasn't me. I'm sorry.
Good answer. Good answer.
Restful.
Restful.
Peaceful. Yes.
Peaceful. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I conjure up our thoughts of naps, and I think naps are a great thing. So
Yeah.
I did. Oh,
I wanna
Naps and beaches.
Yeah, and just like be free, just like kind of finish and float through life, and like, oh, I think I'll,
like when we were young.
yeah, like
We didn't
like
have a care in the
almost
world.
midnight, not a care in the world.
Right.
I had chanclas in the world. Shoot,
Ooh.
ain't nobody
Oh,
trying to
It'd be
think.
cool to have that as an adult, Sandy, but without the chanclas. So those that's
Right.
awesome. All right, Joe.
So- So the producer and I have different ideas on our retirement. So I don't know what we're gonna do.
You're gonna do what the producer said. That's
Right.
we know
She
what
was
you're
like,
doing.
I'm not doing what the producer said.
Yeah.
But
She wants to retire in Mexico, and I want to drive all over the country.
oh god.
Yeah, I want to travel the country in a Winnebago.
In your Winnebago.
In a Winnebago.
Oh,
See,
No.
we might have to swap because that's what my wife wants to do. Dr. Pineapples wants to travel what do you call that? Route
The
66.
world.
The
No.
continent. Yeah.
She wants to go from one end of Route 66 to the other, and I'm like, who's driving? And she's you. And I'm like,
seriously. I am good in the car for about 3.5, 4 hours tops. After that, I am like a kid. Are we there yet? Where'd I be?
So,
I'm hungry.
BossDiva, we live in
Yes.
Texas. We can't get anywhere in 3 hours. We have to keep
Oh,
going.
yeah.
That's
You know?
true.
Yeah.
That's a good
So we're
point,
used
Sandy.
to
That's,
it.
that's a great point.
3 hours. We're still chasing the dog in 3
Right.
hours.
Yeah. We can still see the dog running away.
Right.
It takes me
God.
15 hours to get from where I live to my hometown, which is where they're both at. And in Texas, they can drive 15 hours and they're still
Still in Texas.
Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that just made my ears burn.
She's like, stop the negativity. I thought you said
Sorry,
very
sorry,
positive.
Sandy, you said fabulous, right?
Yes, fabulous, and incorporating traveling, restful, peaceful.
Mhm.
You know, no children calling and asking me for money.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, one can dream. One can dream.
One can,
Right.
yes. I think for me, when I retirement, what would you call it? What's the one word you would say, like being able to do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do?
An adult.
Freedom?
An adult.
Freedom?
Freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom.
Freedom. So that's what I want. I want to be able to bake whatever the heck I want to, cook whatever I want to, not necessarily to eat it, but just to do it and be like, I'm
Mhm.
done.
And you're like, trash.
Somebody
Start all over.
please.
I'd be like the opposite, whatever the opposite is of a He-Man woman haters grill, be the opposite. Be like, come here, you stinking donut.
Yeah,
Made something,
donut.
just eat it. And then be done with it. Maybe that's not the kindest thing, but that's what I want to do.
Right. Right.
So, all right. Anyway, so yes, everyone, I want to thank you for coming in tonight and watching us, the Social Distancing Show. We're here with, as you can see, there's Wayward Joe down there, Just Dandy's here, and JPineapples, and our lovely, wonderful guest tonight, who is born and raised in Atlanta. She's a mother of 3, grandmother of 1. She loves
You're a
sports,
grandmother.
especially all things Atlanta, and we'll get to that in a second. She loves to travel. She loves to eat good food, spend
Not
time
more
with
than
family,
4
close
hours,
friends. But not, yeah, no more than 4 hours.
This is a plane.
And you even mentioned recently, you said you really enjoy the holidays, which we're about to come up on, or I guess technically we're in
Yes.
it, right? So,
Yes.
you currently work in clinical research,
Mhm.
and but you've been in the medical industry for about 25 years now.
Yep.
BossDiva, let me just say first,
Smart.
I feel
She's
like you're
a
like
smart one.
not just smart, but you've got great genes because
got great
when you say you've been in the medical
skin.
industry for 25 years and you're a grandma, I'm like,
Yes.
Huh?
My
Who
oldest
offers-
daughter is 25.
Oh, okay.
You just don't look like a grandma.
yeah, you
Yeah,
look like you're
uh,
25.
Thank you.
I'm like, what in the world? And we,
That was
we
good.
say,
That was good, Mr.
I'm just
Pineapples.
saying, look, there are times BossDiva, we bring people on and we're like, man, they get sprinkled with all this talent, but it seems like you probably just don't have talent, but you got the good genes too. So it's like,
do.
man,
Yeah.
what are we doing wrong, guys? What are we doing wrong?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I paid
So,
$100 for some good jeans one day.
Then they were probably torn too, right?
They had
So-
holes in them.
So, BossDiva, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself from your words?
So, I mean, you pretty much summed it up. I am a very free spirit. I love people, obviously. Been in the medical industry, like I said, for 20 years. Right now, I'm into clinical research. So I travel once a week, which is so much fun because I like to travel and I don't drive. I
Nice.
Okay. So I travel once a week. And what I like most about my job is like I normally go places that I probably would never think to go. Like, who is just gonna just up and go to Grand Rapids?
Right.
Not too many people.
Or Lubbock, Texas. Yeah.
Right. Right. So
Lubbock Rapids.
that's about it. Again, holidays coming up. So let me tell you what I did to myself.
Go
So
for it.
normally, the last couple of years, my family we always come to my house for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
For this year will make 10 years, I do an ugly Christmas sweater party at my house.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Well, this year, I decided, not thinking, ooh, I want to have a Halloween party. So I have a Halloween party this weekend.
Nice.
You
Then
forgot
I'm
Halloween
doing
was this weekend.
Thanksgiving at my house in November. And then the Christmas party in December.
Yes,
gosh.
I love it.
Wow.
I am
love
gonna
it
be
too,
tired.
but yeah,
That
you
sounds
are.
like a bunch of cleaning. Every
That's
time
what-
That's what it is.
And then not only that, but this is the way I am. I get neurotic and I clean things that like people aren't there. No one's gonna go in my closet, but I'm gonna clean it out. And then I get mad at everybody else because I'm like, don't look at this nasty house. As I'm vacuuming, I'm pissed at everybody because
Yes. I don't want these baseboards like this.
yes, I'm cleaning baseboard. I just get neurotic and
I
I do
clean
it
the
to
freezer.
myself.
I literally just cleaned the freezer the other day because I
Yes.
have company coming over Saturday.
Yes,
I
know.
can relate to that though, boss, because I'm the same way when it comes. My main thing is the kitchen, and I get like that too, Sandy, on Saturday mornings, and I'm pissed off too, and I'm getting everyone pissed, and I'm like, if y'all had just spent the 15 minutes during the week, I wouldn't have to wake y'all all up and get down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kitchen and the bathroom are my major things, especially when
Okay.
company is coming over.
Yes.
A dirty bathroom is just like that does something to me. So
That
So my
triggers you,
kid
huh?
uses
That
the
triggers
guest
you.
restroom, so I'm like, you better keep this clean. I mean, I just get crazy.
Yes.
I
Me
can't
too.
help it.
me too.
See, I can't function when I come home and the kitchen's not clean. I'm like, you all realize I have to make dinner for all of us tonight.
Right. I can't cook in a dirty kitchen.
No,
Yeah.
I have to wash everything before I start cooking.
And now
And
I gotta
then
add
after I cook, y'all all leave to go to your room, and I gotta stay to clean up the mess. What the sense does that
Yeah.
make?
See, I'm right there. Now I have an attitude because now I'm mad making dinner. I can't make dinner with love because y'all piss me off.
Right.
piss me off
Right.
before I even started.
And then we gotta clean it up. Ooh.
You're
And
lucky.
then
You're lucky
No,
I'm not
I-
making hot sauce.
I
Right.
started to just leave the kitchen dirty.
Oh, and see, and I've started. Oh, yes.
I'll
I'm
cook,
like,
but I'm not gonna cook and clean after I cook.
it's ridiculousness, right?
So,
and then if you gotta
I
clean
agree.
before you gotta cook, then cook, and then you want me to clean afterwards,
After,
and then restart over tomorrow.
or because my kids are older, I'll get home and they're like, "Oh, what are we gonna eat? I'm hungry." And I look at the kitchen, I'm like, "I ain't hungry. I ate already."
So, and one night I tried it out like a few weeks ago, and I was like, I just made dinner for my wife and I. So I was like, Dr. Pineapples, come on, babe. And then the kids were like, "What's for dinner?" I was like, "Got me beat. I don't know." And then my
I don't
wife
know
came
what y'all
down.
gonna eat.
I had rice, vegetables, chicken, and I was like, "There you go, babe." And the kids were like, "What about us?" I was like,
What about y'all?
"Well, exactly. What about that?" I'm sorry, we got all triggered
your
there.
legs
Yeah,
broke?
we were all on the.
Did your fingers stop working too?
Right.
Right.
So, for those of you who, again, one of the reasons that we brought BossDiva on the show is because I've been wanting to interview her for a while because she is the new co-host over with Jhmeid and Ricardo over on We Dat Sports Atlanta and show, and I have seen her come on, and she does some really cool spin on the show that traditionally started off as a sports show, right? And it still is at the heart of it. But
Yeah.
BossDiva, you bring in an extra little
Feminine
spice in
touch.
there that I really like. So why don't
Yes.
you tell everyone a little bit about that piece?
So We Dat, again, like you said, is a sports show. You know, the guys talking sports, doing their thing. Now, like you mentioned, I love sports. I love all things Atlanta. Braves, Hawks, Falcons.
And the Braves
Atlanta
in the
United.
World Series, how's that going? Just real
You
quickly?
better know it. And they won last night. Oh, they beat.
Oh,
Wait,
congratulations.
They
they're
beat the
playing
Houston Ass.
Astros.
Yeah.
They're playing
Yeah.
the Astros. Well, we don't like the Astros because they're cheaters.
Right. We're more Rangers fans, but I have been to an Astros game. I love their stadium. It's nice.
Okay. Well, we
I'm
beat
an
the
Oilers
Astros
fan.
last night.
Good,
So
good,
that's
good.
that.
I'm rooting for the Braves.
Do you hear the Oilers joke over there?
Oh.
But you know, I like talking to the guys. You know, I bring up, like you said, I bring a lot of spice to the show. Bring up a couple of topics that the guys normally wouldn't talk about. A little quote unquote girl talk. And kind of make them interact with that. But it's a lot of fun. The guys are great. And like I said, I know a little about sports, so it's not like I'm just, out of my
Just there.
element, but a lot of fun. And those guys are really, really knowledgeable when it comes to all things sports. So I learned something as well.
Right.
And gambling. Well,
Jhmeid is a gambler.
So that's only if it's allowed in your state.
Right.
Otherwise, you just do it as practice.
Right.
Talking about practice.
Practice, yeah.
And how did you meet them?
On those practice gambling sites.
Surprisingly, so you would not believe that I've never physically met Jhmeid.
Okay.
Ever.
Really?
Nope. We met in a group, another group on Facebook, and we've just interacted in that group, and we just became really close. He's like a big brother to me. And so we've done a lot of charity work together, and we do a lot of things for disenfranchised people around the holidays and things like that. So that's how we started kind of to connect. And I guess he realized that because I post on Facebook about all my sports. So I guess he realized that I like sports. I kind of know what I'm talking about. So he invited me to the show, and it's been great. I love it.
Oh, that's so awesome. Cool.
That is awesome.
I like it. So I do not watch a ton of sports. About the only sports I watch, honestly, is going to be if it's the Dallas Cowboys or Texas Tech.
Dallas.
That's honestly probably about as much sports as I watch.
Okay.
How about those Cardinals, though?
I don't watch them.
He doesn't even know what you're talking about, but yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I hear about them all.
The problem is, here's the problem. The only reason that Sandy watches the Cardinals is because our ex-coach is the coach for the Cardinals.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wherever Texas Tech players are, I'm kind of honed in on those just to see how they're doing.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
but so the pieces that you bring on,
Yes.
the pieces that you bring onto the show, though, like, is it fair to say that it's like there's a little bit of entertainment piece,
right?
You bring, right? So
the top of the show, I'll bring in. We'll just talk about Atlanta, what's going on in entertainment, what's popping in the news, what's popping in the entertainment industry, who said what, who did what. Just kind of talk about those kind of things and get each other's perspective. Like I said, I like getting the guys' perspective because sometimes they are just baffled.
Yeah. But Atlanta's a nice hot spot, though, right? That Atlanta is where we have, that's at least from my knowledge. I'm like, man, anytime anyone says Atlanta and we're talking about entertainment industry, I'm like, Tyler Perry. That's the first name I think of, right? Because
Tyler Perry, but like he's one of many, because you talk about the music industry. And you have, a lot of the Southern hip hop rappers and like Jermaine Dupri, and you have a lot of Southern rappers that are here. Of course, the movie industry with Tyler Perry. We have restaurants from wall to wall in Atlanta, so it's always, and we have the Housewives of Atlanta. Love and hip hop Atlanta. So it's a lot of celebrities that are in Atlanta that just, you can walk through the mall one day and legit walk past anybody, and it's just like, was that Beyond? Yes, it was.
Right.
I want to say this, and I'm not sure if it's accurate or not, but when I think of Atlanta, it's almost like not Hollywood per se, but it's it's people of color Hollywood almost. Is that an accurate assumption?
Chocolate City. Yes.
Okay.
Chocolate City.
And so when you say that, I'm like, I feel like I need to run upstairs and be like, Dr. Pineapples.
We need to move to Atlanta.
We should go to Atlanta.
Yes.
I think we should go to Atlanta.
Have you ever been to Atlanta, Jamie?
Yes. And so I went there for a week and visited, and you're right. So the restaurant scene is amazing there. I stayed in downtown, and it was fabulous. And it's
very
like
diverse.
being in Chicago. It was like high skyscrapers everywhere, a bustling city. It definitely has the vibe of, man, we are busy. We got places to go. Please don't stop us. And, so
but it's a friendly. It's a friendly city.
Because you have that big city feel, and you have that that hustle and bustle, like you just mentioned, Dr. Pineapple. I mean, JPineapple, but you still have that Southern hospitality.
Yes. Yes.
So I think that's for the most part. Now downtown, long as you're not driving too slow, people are nice.
Right.
Just don't drive slow.
And don't honk at people at the red light.
Don't honk at anybody ever.
At anyone, no, yeah.
No.
See,
You
and
don't-
that's
you don't
different
do
from
that.
up here because here in Chicago, I use my horn. I use it for everything. I'll be like,
yeah.
I
the
think
girls
it's a
and my
northern
wife.
thing. Is that
Yeah, I
a northern
think
thing?
Yeah,
Because
So I'm
New York-
from down south.
New
I'm
York.
from Texas, and we weren't like that. But
Yeah.
after I moved up here, yes,
Mhm.
I have issues with so many people. I'll be like, "Did I piss you off? Did I do something?" And they'll be like, "No, why?" And I'm like, "Because you totally blah." And
Yeah.
they'll be like, "No," and I'll be like,
So you honk at him?
No. I'm talking about just in relations.
Oh,
Like
okay.
people are just like,
I thought
I'm
you were in
like,
your car.
you're just so mean. I feel like, or you're pissed at me,
Yeah.
and I didn't do anything. And they're like, "No," and I'll be like, "So now
No,
I've been here for
completely
like
fine.
13 years. I
Mhm.
get it now, but it was a hard adjustment to be like, man, people just have attitudes up here, and
Yes.
but it's not
Yes.
personal. They just have
Right.
attitudes, and they don't really,
Right.
they're not trying to be mean. So
And
it's like,
then when they come to the South and they get the Southern hospitality, and somebody speaks to them that you don't know, I'm just like, "Hey, how you doing?" It's like,
Yeah.
they're all sus,
Oh, they're like they want something. What do you
"Why you
want?
speaking to me?"
right? And,
That's just what we
that's what I
do.
hear too. So people, that's what I've heard. People be like, man, I went to a trip down in Georgia or Texas or whatever, and it was just really weird. And they'll start describing it. I'll be like, that's home. That's just what that's what
Right.
is it?
Like holding the
We
door
do.
open. Like holding the door open.
Yes.
Like, people are
Like
like,
holding the
Yes.
door-
women
like saying
get, like,
excuse
what are
me
you doing?
or pardon me. Like those are weird things to people up here in the north.
You better
You don't
say
do
that.
that.
Let me tell you something. I said apparently, excuse me and thank you is not universal.
No,
It's Southern.
It's
It's only
not.
Southern.
I'm not used to that.
it blows my mind.
Right.
Boss, it blows my mind.
Yeah, and whenever you talk to them on the phone, they just hang up. They don't say bye. They just hang up. I'm like,
Bye. See you later. Have a
Yeah.
great day. Something.
right? Yeah. No, they just hang up. They
And,
just-
and
Yeah.
being and so having that southern, like I don't know how you guys, I know how you two are. I don't know about you, boss, but I know it takes me a minute to say bye. I'll say 3 buys, 4 buys with both of them before we actually click the
Right.
phone.
Right.
okay, yeah. I'll talk
And
to
if
you
we
later.
don't have
But-
all 3 or 4
hold on.
buys, we're like, "What's going on?" Then he call him back like, "Hey, did something go on? What are you pissed at me?
I
What's
lost
up?"
you. You went through a tunnel.
Right, exactly.
No,
So-
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
Okay, good. So that
Yes.
helps me out. So tell me on your most recent appearance, because you're not always on We Dat also, right?
I try every Thursday, unless there's
Okay.
something like I'm traveling for work or there's something going on. But for the most part, every Thursday.
Okay, so every Thursday, and I know the guys like to go on multiple times because the sports world is
Oh yeah,
always buzzing
Sports
for
is
them.
popping right now. Yes.
Yes, yeah. And the football season
Changing.
is only here. The seasons are only here for so long, so they're like, yeah, they want to be heavy into it. So I get it.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit on the last episode that you're on? What like last Thursday? What were some of the news that you shared on there?
And
So
we'll
last
we'll give you our input.
Okay, so last week, first of all, we didn't have Professor Jhmeid on because he was, I think, traveling. So we had a guest speaker on who now lives in Miami, but he had a podcast for basketball.
Oh, yes.
talked about-
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Ty.
He's a young cat,
Hey.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
So we talked a lot about, but of course we talked a lot about football because he's a Miami fan, and the Falcons and Miami game was coming up, which just played Sunday. Thankfully, the Falcons won. So we talked a lot about that game. We have to pray when the Falcons play.
Right, exactly. I was
It's
like,
a
the Cowboys
stressful
fan.
relationship.
The
You're like,
Cowboys
we
fans
pray,
know.
we offer food, we make offerings.
We do
Right.
offerings. Yes. We do like little rain dances, all that good
Right.
stuff.
well, they didn't have to do too many because they were playing Miami, and Miami's not doing.
But see, that's the thing, though. You can't. I mean, like, even though you kind of think, but you can't automatically assume because
Right.
when you do that, that's
Yeah,
when the
we
game
beat
gets away
you.
from you.
Yep. And then all of a sudden you're like,
Jakeem
we
Grant
just lost
comes out of
against them.
nowhere.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, what just happened?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
still not P's and Q's, but that's basically what we talked about last week and about the Hawks because we talk all things Atlanta sports, of course. So we talked about the Hawks. The Hawks are doing really good. They are really looking good this season. So excited about the Hawks,
Well,
excited
they
about
were-
the Braves.
They ended on a strong note. Nobody thought they were going to make the playoffs, and then
Right.
they did awesome.
They did. They did. And they are looking good this season so far. So excited about what's to come with the Hawks.
That is
Okay.
really cool.
And
So-
just my little tidbit, I think the Braves are gonna beat it in 5. Okay, go.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
So what do you have? I thought I heard somewhere that you had a podcast or some sort of club or something. Is there more?
So I have a all women's organization called Good
Okay.
Girlfriends, and it's a Facebook page, and that's where we can go and just kind of let our hair down, take our makeup off, take off our earrings, and just be
Roll up
girls.
your sleeves and
roll up our sleeves, yes, and just
Take
talk
off your
about-
bras.
Yeah, come on now. I mean, you gotta take it off and not take your shirt off, or pull it out.
Yes, leave, girl.
like that.
That's what I'm talking about. It's that kind of thing. And so every other Wednesday night we do a podcast, and we'll have different topics on, and we just talk and we just vibe, and we sometimes we get raw,
Personal.
so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah, we get very raw, but it's a closed group, so it's a private space, it's a safe space, to talk about whatever, because everybody, I think all women need a couple of good girlfriends.
Yes.
It's just to lean on, to talk to bounce ideas off of. So yeah. So we do that every other. You a good girlfriend?
I do.
Jamie just
And I
wants
mean
to
that
take
in
his
the most
book off through his
wholesome way
sleeve.
possible. Okay?
Right.
I mean that in the most wholesome way possible. I talk about I tell my wife,
He wants
"Babe, I just
polyamory."
have a hard time being friends with guys. Guys
What's wrong with
just don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just
when I say I am totally on board with polyamory, I am like 100%. I think it's the way to go.
So my wife is a therapist, BossDiva, and the
Okay.
whole reason this topic came up on the show was because she was on here one night, and we were talking. The three of us were talking about it before she came on, and we brought it up, and we're like, "Is that a thing? What is it?" And my mind was completely blown up.
So was mine.
Really?
But I know
I
it
had-
exists because I have
Yeah.
friends and I babysat their children while they go do stuff. But
Yeah.
I know it exists.
But I just didn't
But it's
know
just
on
not
a
like-
on a not the I don't know how to say it, the funny way, the things that make you giggle or whatever, but honestly, like the details, not the super details. How am I saying this? There's different levels of it, and I had no idea.
When people hear poly, the first thing they go to is relations,
Right.
right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
the first thing they think. It's like, oh, you just want to sleep with the number. No.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
It is
That's where I go.
No.
That's what it says.
Thank you for your honesty. It's so much more than that.
Yes,
and
it is.
We had a conversation on our podcast, Good Girlfriends. We talked about polyamory and polygamy and the different arms of, right, because there's
Yes.
polyandry, there's polyamorous, there's,
Right.
so
Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about the relations, like you said. It wasn't just about that,
no,
but it's about there's emotional connections. There's proximity,
It's
like people
village
just wanna be
building.
near each other. Yeah, and friendship, and then there's levels within those two. There's like who's your
Absolutely.
main, who's the prime, or who's the primary, secondary, and everyone that in those relationships, if you're doing it right, you apparently know,
it
and
works.
you sign off on those things, and
It
so
works.
it's not just about the
Side note.
relations.
Mhm.
You said if you're doing it right, but if you're doing it wrong, you end up on my podcast because murder was the case that they gave me. Okay.
And so many of them are like that, Sandy. So many.
It does. Sometimes
But-
it doesn't work out.
But as with any relationship, I think poly, it just forces you to be extremely transparent. Like, you have to be transparent and you have to communicate. And a lot of people aren't comfortable with that level of transparency.
Right.
And you have to commit to it.
You
Like,
have to
you
commit
can't
to it.
commit to whatever the defined parameters are. I work in IT,
Right.
so that helps me out. But if you can't work within the defined parameters of the relationship and what everyone agrees to, it's not going to be healthy. Just like
But
in
even
a
that is a
monogamous
discussion.
relationship.
Right. But even that is a discussion because every poly relationship doesn't operate the same.
Right.
So
It's completely fascinating to me. But that when I talk to my wife, I'm always like, she's like, "Are you wanting to practice?" I'm like, "No. I can't handle all that. I can't." And I'm not a what do you call it? I'm not like bashing it or anything. but the mental capacity to be in those type of relationships, it's so intriguing to me, equally as it is for sociopaths and psychopaths. I can't stop talking about those two either. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not quite like you, Sandy, but those three areas fascinate my mind to no degree. So sorry. Anyway, I
And
I'm going somewhere
that
else.
tangent just went.
We can.
Where was I going originally? Y'all
I
help
was
me
like,
out.
I
I
don't know.
actually do have one question that has nothing to do with that. What exactly is a clinical researcher?
Okay, so clinical researcher. So of course we know of all the vaccines,
Right.
right? So during this process that they're going through right now, say your primary care physician says, okay, we're going to do a clinical research study, and they'll get the study, and I'll go out and I'll train your doctor on how to conduct the study.
Okay.
So we'll talk about who is eligible, who's not. So we'll go over inclusion, exclusion criteria. We'll go over what's in the protocol, what the sponsor, i.e. Merck,
You can use all the terms because you're in the
Pfizer.
medical field. So
Pfizer,
don't
all
worry.
of them. So they'll drop a protocol, or your rules and regulations of the study, and they'll say this is how we want the study to be ran. So I'll go in, I'll train the doctor and the staff on how the study is supposed to be ran, who they're the target audience, right? Because sometimes they're not looking for everybody. And then once they enroll, so they'll come and say, hey, Joe, you came in and complained about, arthritis. So we have an arthritis study that is, there's a medication and you might have to take it once a week, and we'll compensate you for your time and your efforts on the study. We will, you'll have 5 visits over the course of 1 year. And we just want to make sure that you agree to come to your visits. Number one, you agree to participate in the study, because this is an investigational drug. So we don't know if it works yet. We're trying to make sure it works. Or we know what it does to a certain degree, right? So you have phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 studies. So we'll say we know A and B, so we're trying to figure out C. So we need you to be in C so you can tell us, so we can get the data that we need to get an overall picture of this medication.
Okay.
So when they enroll Joe into the study, then I'll go back out to the doctor's office and say, okay, let me see Joe's chart. And I'll say, okay, yes, he met the criteria. He met the inclusion criteria. And yes, he met the exclusion criteria. Exclusion might be like, well, his BMI can't be over 30, or, just whatever. So I'll have to,
she said old and fat.
I'm just like dumbing it down for you.
I feel it.
Boss, I wasn't laughing at you earlier. I was laughing because you chose to give the oldest one on the show the arthritis. So,
I feel attacked.
I mean, he's as old as Moses. Let's just be real. So you chose the right.
I'm so sorry. But that's just how that's basically what it is. And then once they have all the data that they need, so they'll say, okay, this study is going to go on for 12 months. And so at the end of those 12 months, I'll go back out. We'll close out the study, and they'll gather all that information. They'll send it off to the sponsor, and the sponsor will finalize the data, run it through, make sure all the data is clean, and then they'll present that information or that data to the FDA for approval.
So in that, are you also including like who gets the placebo and all that type of stuff? Is that
so normally
that different?
No, it's around the same thing. So a lot of studies, especially when it comes to medications, they'll have a active and a placebo, but normally those studies are blinded, so nobody knows who's getting what.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is so fascinating, BossDiva, because
I know, right?
It's so in my world that it sounds like you're almost like a project manager, even from a lot of the experience that I have. So, we have the stakeholders, and then we have the sponsor also, and all these things, and so they collect all this data, make sure it's all good, for the project to get completed. It's very fascinating. So, are you tied to the COVID vaccine stuff that's been doing, or is your realm like with just anything that's on
my company does? I am not. by choice. I decided not to do a COVID study only because it's moving so fast. And we have what we call database lock, which means they need all the data in for all these subjects by a certain date so they can lock the data to get the information, to clean it and get the information they need so they can move on to the next phase. And so when you talk about, we'll say 30 sites with 100 subjects each, right? And say I have 10 of those 30 sites with 100 subjects each. And I'm trying to coordinate all 10 of my sites to get all of their data in, to answer queries, which are, questions about the data that they put in, get all that cleaned up so they can lock the database and then open it back up a week later to start all over again.
It was just a lot of work.
I was going to say that's a lot of travel. That's a lot of coordination. Oh my.
Yes.
Okay. I can see.
But remember, we were grounded for quite some time, so it was a lot of remote visits. So I'm on the phone. They're on the phone 5 to 7 days a week because you have to contact all of your sites.
Oh wow!
Every single week. So
how did you get into this? Did you know from high school, college?
Oh God, no.
I knew. What did you want to be when you grew up? There,
right.
Well, I wanted to be a dance choreographer.
Come on now.
Right?
I feel you, boss, because in another world, I would have been that too.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding you.
I was going to be a backup dancer for Janet Jackson. No lie.
Come on.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're like, Duff, you shouldn't have been on there. That was me. I should have been there.
But
TV.
I had my daughter at 18. So I was literally, true story, I was sitting at home with my 4-week-old. And I saw a commercial about being a medical assistant. So I was like, I didn't really like school, but I can go for 7 months. Fine, I'll do that. So I went to school to be a medical assistant. And while I was with the doctor so I started working for the doctor that delivered my daughter. Crazy thing. But while
Awkward or no?
Small world.
Right.
Atlanta's a small world.
Right.
Right.
She's like, discount.
Right. I'm just gonna call in my prescription because
right.
While I was there, he was introduced to clinical research. So we started out doing women's health research, right? And that's how I got into it. And I was with that physician for 12 years. I left there. I went on to be a phlebotomist. All this time, well, in the later years, I went back to school to get my degree. So I went and got my degree in healthcare management because I'm like, I've been working in the office for this long. I can probably run the office. So let me get my degree. Went and got my degree. And then my mentor who introduced the office to clinical research was like, why don't you just get back into research? So I was like, okay. So I went and worked at Emory in the oncology department for 2 years. And after that, I was just like, okay, this is kind of, Emory is just a name and it looks good on your resume.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So I decided that it was time for me to move on.
It was a stepping stone.
Exactly. So I interviewed with the company that I'm with, and they had a bridge program to where they taught what the previous job is called a study coordinator. So those are the ones that coordinate the study for the doctor and the study. So they taught study coordinators how to be monitors. And so I transitioned over and I love it. I've been doing it for the last 6 years.
Wow.
Awesome. That is
And
pretty
I've
cool.
done everything from preterm labor study to infectious disease studies. Right now I'm on a erosive esophagitis study. So I've done a little bit of everything.
She can throw out the terms. It's like, here, let me throw out some medical terms.
I heard the throat burning in what she just said. That's what I
Right.
heard.
Right. Acid reflux.
Acid reflux. That's what I was saying. Yeah, I couldn't think. Yeah.
Barrett's esophagus.
Right.
That's so fascinating, boss. Seriously. Like,
Yes, I love it.
here's the thing is like, this type of work exists. I'll be honest, in my 40 plus years, I've never met anyone who's done it though.
Right.
When you see the movies, they're one of the integral parts in the movie, to collect all the information and all that stuff. But I've never actually met someone.
Right. This isn't something you see on Indeed. It's like they don't talk to you about this in high school. So You don't know
And
about it until you're
and here in the
introduced.
house, we talk about it all the time, to be honest with you, because
Right.
my wife, she's a therapist, but she's a PhD, and so she's
So
talking
there you
about
have-
how
Yeah.
all the stuff. Every time I've asked her about all the different psychology topics, she mentions clinical research and things that have to be done
Yeah.
to get this, and it's always so fascinating. It's
So do you have a white
It
coat
is.
too? Do you like to have the white coat and with the clipboard? And
No. Thank you. No white coat, no clipboard. And that's the thing too, because I go into the site. I don't go in to police the site. We're a team. So I want to make sure that you guys are following the protocol and everything is up to par, because at any point the FDA can come into the site and say, hey, let me see your records. So it's a team effort to make sure that we're following the guidelines. And I have to, and it's funny because being in this industry, I don't know if you guys do this at home, but like my parents and my friends, you hear commercials like side effects may include blah, 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 and they get on this laundry list of side effects. And it's like, why do I want to take that if it has all those side effects?
yeah.
And I have to explain to them like, okay, so in research, it's a little CYA. So the sponsor has a threshold of different side effects. So if they passed that threshold of people that said, my nose started bleeding. It wasn't bad, but I did have a little nosebleed. If their threshold is 20 and 22 people say they had a nosebleed, guess what?
It's
Side
not
Side
about it.
effect.
Side effect.
Gotcha.
We don't want anything to come up after the fact to say, you didn't say this could happen.
Right.
So that's how you get all these side
Because I always wondered that, because then I'm like, oh my gosh, like seriously, why do I want to take
You're
this?
like, wait,
I usually
death
hear
may
these
be a side
commercials
effect?
like when I'm watching like Judge Judy, Judge Alex, Judge
Yeah.
Curtis.
That's
That's
when
when
they
I'm
put those,
and
ads
that's when
on.
and that's when it's asking like, do you suffer from this? And I'm like, yes. And then I'm
Right.
a hypochondriac.
Right.
I got
Take
problems.
this. Side effects may include, and it's like, wait, no. But you think about it, normally studies last about 2 to 3 years is like the minimum. So you talk about 2 to 3 years of somebody being on a study for this long, and you got people from all walks of life. And so when you're dealing with this medication, it may not have anything to do with the medication that the investigational product that they're taking or using, but because it may counteract with something else that they take. It might counteract with environmental issues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because of that, they have to document it. You have to document everything in research. If a patient said, I walked outside and I tripped over a rock and broke my toe, it has to be documented.
And if 20 of them do it, then
And
they
if
say
20 of them
And
do
it
it,
could
it
cause
could cause you to break a big toe.
Broken
hammer.
toes.
It could cause hammer toe.
exactly.
BossDiva,
that's how
let me
it
be the
works.
first to say. Let me be the first to say though that I live in Illinois, and if you ever come across a study in Illinois that requires someone being involved in a cannabis study of any kind, I may know someone or few. So I'm just putting that out there. Okay,
So
just let me know.
What's that supposed to mean there, Miss Pineapples?
I don't know if we
I'm
have.
just saying, let me know if you
Yeah,
have a
I was gonna
cannabis
say,
study.
how many cannabis studies have you done?
I have not done any.
Well, just
Um,
keep an eye out there.
keep an eye. I will.
Grab the first one that you can when they're handing out studies.
Okay, me.
I'm me for the cannabis.
I mean, I
Not
can't
personally,
say it
but I
on
know a
public like
friend.
this, but I'm not going to get in trouble either. So
Okay, so I have a couple of comments for you. Hi,
Okay.
BossDiva. You're way smarter than I am. I sat in the hall during all non-electives. Nice to meet you.
Thank you,
No.
dear.
And CPJ also says, you're a big deal. Thank you so much for what you do. So many of us have people in our lives that got to live longer because of trials and research like what you do. From the bottom of my
Amen.
heart, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yes. And so that's what I
Definitely.
explained to my family too. Because I was like, well, I'm not going to be a test dummy. You know how some people are. But I'm like, if you have anything in your medicine cabinet,
It's been tested. Yeah.
it has been tested.
Yeah.
Somebody had to say, hey, I'll try it. I'll step up to the plate. From everything from Tylenol to high blood pressure medicine, to oncology medication.
Right.
How much does the study pay?
That's situational.
I've seen some. So I've been a part of some, Sandy, and you can get paid good money, honestly.
Yeah.
You really can.
I've been
You
part of
can
some
make a
too.
living off of being in studies. I'm not even kidding you. Like if you you can join 4, 5, 6 studies.
No,
and
you can. No. No.
And you can get paid big bucks weekly.
So, like one day
Sandy.
you can be Jhmeid
You're not
Piña, and the
supposed
next
to.
day you can be Jhmeid
or Jonathan.
I do not approve this message.
Yes, I'm
Not
just
approve
saying.
this message.
I know some ones who've done that before. So
Were they cannabis studies? They were cannabis studies. He knows nobody. It's just him trying to sign up for
But
cannabis
honestly,
studies.
boss, how do people find studies so that they can be? Because guys, you can make some money
They put
out
them in
there
the
doing it.
newspaper, Jamie.
You don't want-
CDC.gov.
CDC.gov.
I'm sorry, CDC.gov and clinicaltrials.gov.
Okay.
So anything that you have, like, and it doesn't have to be anything evasive. Like you might have, restless leg syndrome, or you just.
Or arthritis.
Don't do that. I'm gonna sign my son.
IBMI.
I'm gonna find a sleep study for my son because he is 20 years old, and this man can go to sleep at 9 o'clock at night, and he can sleep until 12 p.m. the next day.
Wow.
Like habitually?
Yes.
Because I've had that happen and it feels great and it's
He's a
scary,
narcoleptic.
but not habitually.
No, he can do it every day, and it's to the point where he scares me because I'm out of town. So his boss called me one day. He was like, "Hey, have you talked to your son?" And I was like, "No, why?" He said, "Well, he didn't come in to work." I'm sorry, what? So, of course, I'm calling his cell phone. He doesn't hear
Not
it.
answer.
I have the neighbors come over, ring the doorbell.
No.
No answer.
He doesn't hear it. I am in
Grand Rapids.
right. So I call a friend to come to my house. I have to give him the code to my garage so that he can get into my house to check on my son. You know where he was? On the
In
couch
bed.
sleep.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
He has to be at work at 5. It was 7:30.
Uh-oh.
He was a little
Oh
late.
man, how long has this been?
I was going to say, how,
Since he was about 8 or 9. It is very difficult to wake him up.
Oh my goodness.
I
I
literally have
watched
to
them.
wake him up and then stand him up, like, look at me, wake up, and then it'll click.
Wild.
Yeah.
And then does he just like wake up once you actually get him to click and he's good to go?
No.
Or is he pretty groggy for a
He's
good...
pretty groggy, and if I walk away, I have to come back because he will definitely go back to sleep.
He would just lay back down and go back
Yep.
to sleep. Wow, that's crazy.
So does he feel rested when he wakes up, or does he just still feel tired? Like, does he have...
He's rested when he wakes up, but
Uh-huh.
like he can. I really think he astro projects to another dimension because it is crazy how deep he sleeps,
Yeah.
and it's all the time.
My wife would get pissed at me back in the day, boss. She would be like, "You didn't hear the fire alarm going off?" And she'd be pissing me for weeks because she'd be like, "We'd all been dead and you'd have just been sleeping." And I'd be like,
Yep.
Yeah.
He was 9, and my husband's car was in the garage, and for whatever reason, the car caught on fire not in the garage, the driveway. Car caught on fire, exploded, blew, and caught on fire. So my daughter wakes up because, of course, the rooms are on the side of the house where the driveway is in the garage.
"Oh my
My
god!"
daughter wakes up. She was like, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "Yes, what was that?" So we go outside. The car's on fire. So we're trying to get out of the house. She goes to wake up her brother. I have a 2-month-old that was giving him a bath. So I had to snatch him out the water, wrap him in a blanket, get his stuff together. And she is in his room trying to wake him up.
Oh my God.
She had to take a hanger and just like bang it on his bed to wake him up.
Oh,
And
That
then
is so
dress him.
scary. I can see
It's
the
scary.
fear. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah. 'Cause-
Wow.
Anything can
I
happen.
don't even know what to say to that.
I
Yeah,
They can
know.
say anything.
It's hard for him to plan things then, isn't it? Like if he says he's going to be somewhere, he probably is not very reliable in
So
that sense.
yeah, he is. So that's the crazy part. If he has something that he knows he has to do, for the most part, he'll wake up. So what he does now, he realizes that is if he sleeps when he's uncomfortable, then he'll wake up. So when he has to work or when he has to take his brother to school because I'm out of town, he sleeps on the floor.
Oh my gosh.
He sleeps on the floor.
Wow.
So I'm going to find him a clinical research study for
Oh, okay,
sleep,
that's
some kind of sleep study for him.
right.
We need to
I
find out
didn't
what
look up sleep, but I did look up cannabis use. So there's some out there.
Right. So he's going to work on yours next, I'm sure of it. CPJ says, I bet you wish you'd have been on cannabis trial during that call to wake up time with your son.
Right. Like, what is happening?
She says, she mommy dearest your son, no more wire hangers.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
my goodness.
Oh my
That's so
goodness.
terrible. That's so terrible.
Yeah.
I remember what I wanted to say earlier, though. So this is fascinating. I hate to backtrack a little bit, but when you were talking about your podcast and your closed women's group, we had another woman on here who has, I don't know if it's similar, but I don't know if you've ever heard of red tents.
Red
guys?
tent. Mm-hmm.
Red tents.
No.
And it sounds very similar to what you were doing, at least the heart of it being a safe space for women to get to come together, build relationships, and to just have some expression. So if they just need to
Yes.
cry, vent,
Yeah.
yell, be angry with others to help support them, it's this free thing for them to do that. And she just published a book. She just moved to Japan, actually. Her husband's in the military. But when you were talking about that, I was like, man, we have some really amazing people who come on the show who do some really amazing things for, I'll say, like the mental health component for people. I think it's a good thing
Absolutely.
what you're doing with that, because we were running out of time. I'd love to talk about it more. We'll have to have you on another day so we can hear more about it. 'Cause
Yes.
it sounds like you definitely have some opinions and ideas and thoughts that you'd be willing to share on like just mental health, or even for women, kind of like a women thing to help them, what you're experiencing in the group, if you're willing to. And so
Absolutely.
I think that's amazing.
I'd love to.
Awesome. Time flies when we're having fun.
I know,
I
right?
know.
Who would have thought clinical research would blow our minds like
It's
it
fascinating.
did?
It's some fascinating
It
stuff. And I'm
It
sure
is.
all we did was just scratch the surface of it. I'm sure
Yes.
we haven't even really gotten into it.
Yeah.
Like
And
I
it's
want to hear
really
some of the drama, like, when you headbutted with someone and you were like, no, we had to call the CDC and they had to come in there and shut that down and be like, oh snap, it's getting
Shut
real.
it down.
Yeah, it wasn't the CDC, but we have had to shut a few sites down because you get some doctors who are in it for the money, and they're just, yeah.
I mean, it's what Sandy said. Sandy has a podcast, or she has a webcast where they talk about it, and it's always sex or money. That's where the
Sex,
the murder
drugs,
comes
and rock
from.
and roll.
Hello.
Yeah, so
Yep.
I'm sure. Sandy, you should ask her behind the scenes.
That was going to be one of my questions. That's going to be 1,359.
5011.
5011
All right.
question.
Okay, so at this time we are going to give you the space, BossDiva, so that you can kind of you can share whatever it is you want to share with the audience and let them know whatever's on your mind. Okay,
Plug your
plug
page.
Why isn't this? Oh, I haven't done this in a while, so here we go.
All right. So, hello, world. I am the Boss Diva from Atlanta, Georgia. And I want the ladies, sorry, guys. Ladies, if you can, go to Facebook, check out our page, Good Girlfriends. It's just women empowerment, women support, whatever, all things girls and all things women. We have a podcast every other Wednesday night where we talk about any and everything. So come on over, come join us. And I look forward to increasing the group. And I enjoy talking to others and helping everybody out. That's what I do. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing you soon again.
Awesome. Well, thank
Awesome.
you so much. Jamie, can you put that in the comments?
I was
Is that
about
what
to
you were
ask
doing?
again.
Okay.
What did you say?
Yes.
Good girls,
Good Girlfriends
girlfriends.
on Facebook.
Good
Yep.
girlfriends.
Good Girlfriends.
I'm gonna start a group called Bad Boyfriends. So
Right.
No.
I think you're going in the wrong direction with that.
Right.
Joe.
Bad
Oh.
bromance.
But if we circle back around to Polly, you could start a group called Brother Husbands.
Oh,
snap.
yeah.
Joe's like, yes.
You're speaking my language now.
No, the producer is
Jamie.
definitely not down for that.
She's getting that side eye. Ian. She's giving him that side eye.
Joe's,
All right.
Joe's internet finna go out.
Okay, that's enough.
So I'm not finding it, but we will get it posted here shortly. And
Yes.
BossDiva, if you can help me find it after the show,
I
we'll make sure to
shall.
put it on the in the comment section so that you guys can go back and check it out. So it'll be like the last comment on there. So, but anyhow, BossDiva, thanks for hanging out with us
Thank
tonight.
you.
Thanks for having me. You guys are
I'm so
awesome.
glad everything worked out so that we could hang out tonight because I was like, man, I really want to get to know her and meet her and bring her on. And
We have a title, Blizzard Boy going over to 31 flavors.
What in the? I feel like everyone is attacking me.
you feel attacked, don't you, Joe? I'm
This
sorry.
whole show I've been
Sorry,
attacked.
dude.
That's
Does your
it.
arthritis hurt?
Oh,
You're lucky I can't stand up because of my arthritis and my BMI, but I'll quit here in just a
He'll be
second.
back tomorrow.
He'll have his cane tomorrow, okay? He'll be able to get there further. All right, awesome. Well, BossDiva, we're going to put you in the green room for now while we say our goodbyes, and then we will bring you back in so we can chat for a little bit longer.
Thank you
And the
so
after
much.
show,
Have a good
all right?
night.
We'll see
Thank
ya.
So
you.
we'll see you in just a minute.
Yeah, so she's awesome, except for the insulting of me, but I was cool. I'm cool.
I don't
with
think
Right.
she insulted you. I think
No,
that came
no,
from Sandy
no.
and I.
that. No.
Why you
she's
gotta say me? I was just
Y'all
reiterating what
just
she
all-
had said.
always like picking up on me and just put me down.
That is not true.
We
We don't
respect
like
you,
you.
elders.
I always-
Absolutely.
I always feel like people always.
Joe needs Blizzard Boy group to go on
We're
his
gonna get him a
page.
shirt
Now they're gonna
that
call me.
says, "Don't call me Joe, call me Blizzard Boy."
They're gonna call me Blizzard Boy. And
And
just,
Carrie,
I
don't
just
forget about
can't take this.
Blizzard Boy's room.
Yeah, so
Blizzard
I think it was all
Oh
three
my
of us
goodness. Y'all are
bashing you, not
bunch of jerks I
BossDiva.
work with.
We love you too. So anyone,
get some
not
hazard
anyone,
pay in your next
everyone. Sandy, why don't you tell them what you had on what you posted up yesterday, or
So I have shared with you guys. Sandy Talk Sheet page has shared the raffle of my door hanger. So please get on there and Venmo your money to at the Pineapple Project so that you can buy your spot to win that awesome, fabulous, homemade. I didn't
Right.
make it, so it's gonna stay together. Okay, first of all. But anyway, so that you guys can win it, and also too, this is your charitable contribution to help the kids in the South Plains foster care system, family-based system. So please dig deep in your hearts, and every $5 that you donate, your name will go in for how many ever. I just didn't know how to word it. It was just too many words. And also to be looking for the 5K walk or run.
So
Words.
I put in the
Words.
comments just now. I put Good Girlfriends from BossDiva in there, so you can find the comments in there. Go join the group if you're a lady and you're interested in checking it out. Yes, in tandem with that. So got a little bit of news today. The bins will be delivered to the cleaners in Lubbock on November 22nd. So that'll be the target date, if you want to start collecting toys. and-
Unwrapped toys.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. And then delivering them there. We'll come back later in a week or two and share with you the details as far as like the specific kind of toys and whatnot. Just remember, we're looking at from 0 to 18.
Yep.
And
0 to
from
18.
14 to 18, we're looking for gift cards for those,
Yes.
that age group.
$15
that-
increments.
Thank you. And then before that, we'll be looking for the lower age, actual toys. But we'll let you know. We've got a lot of things. We're working with Sean, who helped us out last year with this. She'll be leading up the Christmases for Kids again this year. And again, just to let everyone know who doesn't know, at the Pineapple Project is the charitable arm to the Social UnDistancing Show or Suds Productions. And it's just a little way for us to give back. We have a lot of you guys who are great viewers and you have generous hearts. And so this is a way for you, if you feel compelled to help out, to do that. Christmases for Kids is a program that wants to give 3 gifts to every foster care child, every child in the foster care system in Lubbock. 3 gifts to open on Christmas morning. No more, no less. And any donations you give to us that you put in the Venmo, when you send us to Venmo, all of that's going to go right to buying gifts for the kids in the week of Christmas. Okay.
So, guys, I know you're going to start Christmas shopping. When you think about your kids, think about the other kiddos too that are out there that aren't as fortunate as your kiddos, and
the
throw in a
reason-
little gift for them.
And also, we haven't said this enough, but the reason we're doing this so early right now is because there's a lot of shipping delays and issues right now.
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
the store shelves aren't looking as meaty as they've been in the years past. So we thought giving everyone a heads up earlier would help with that. Plus, any electronic device that uses computer chip, coffee makers, toasters, even stuff like that, those things use computer chips, and there's a chip shortage right now worldwide. And so if you're looking to purchase any electronic gifts to donate or even for your own homes, you might want to start getting those early because,
Yep.
yeah.
It's not
I don't know
gonna
if
be
Joe
there.
knows it. Joe, you're having issues, right? Like when you order equipment for
Yeah.
your businesses, and we are too.
Yeah.
Like copiers and printers and
So
stuff.
when can we get
6
that
weeks.
installed? And I'm like, whenever we get the equipment. So who
Be
knows?
like, I've already used the chip off my shoulder, so I can.
Exactly. Yeah.
So-
you,
One more thing. So sorry, guys. If you
Mhm.
guys aren't into my serial killer decor, if you guys could share my link, that would be amazing too, and that would help out, so we can get that out to more people.
Yes.
cool.
So remember, you have anything that you want us to raffle off, let us know. Contact any of us. And if you want to help us out with picking up the gifts on the week of Christmas, I know it's far away, but let us know that too. We can always use
Coming
the help,
up.
okay?
Yep.
Awesome. Joe, you got
All
anything
right.
else, sir?
No, I don't. I'm good.
All right, buddy. So, all right, everyone.
So right, everyone.
I did say all right, everyone.
Oh, sorry. I was like looking at my book. Remember to be kind and rewind.
Look for and meet new friends.
Yeah.
You filthy animals.
Animals. Good night,
Good night, everyone.
everybody.
Love y'all.
Y'all are
Have a good
stink,
weekend.
Filthy.
Oh, happy Halloween.
Wash your faces.
Oh,
It was
yes.
Nasty.